Paul asked me to tell you a little bit about my history. I grew up in LA, and I started my career at Metro as a bus operator, actually in 1971. I worked here for quite a while, and then I spent some time in Minneapolis, St. Paul, where there's a very aggressive, very large, energetic bike program. 12, 13, 15 years ago when I was there, and I spent time in Orange County, back at Metro for now 5 years. I'll just tell you what I say that when I talk to industry groups from my industry, transportation, I say to them, and I'm not kidding you by the way, I say, you should work in Los Angeles. We are redesigning the second biggest city in the country. We have the biggest program in the country, and we have the beaches and the mountains and the Hollywood sign. You should work in Los Angeles, right? It's a great place. A little video, I Love LA video, which has 2 jabs at my former co-workers from Orange County, because it's a video about LA. But it shows all these LA places and little movie snippets, buses and trains and bikes. And the jabs are, it shows like the Dodgers and the Lakers and the LA Angels. And it shows Disneyland and place. Isn't that good? So anyway, what I like, and I was happy in Orange County, but I came to Metro because I thought, how do I turn down a chance to impact the second biggest city in the country, right? You know, in my life, this is great. What's really great about the Metro board, and it's always easy to make fun of political boards, but what's really great about them is they are a state center in Los Angeles. The mayor, 2 council members, all 5 and they allow us to be experimental. They allow us to innovate and to try things that are new and different and haven't been done before. In fact, I would say they allow, in fact, demand that we do that. So it makes it fun, doesn't it? My coworkers are over here. So as regards bikes, we've been very active in the last mile, first mile issue for quite a while. If you ride our buses and trains, you'll see a lot of bikes out there every day, every night. We're working to expand the number of bikes that we can have on our buses right now. A lot of challenges, but not easy. And in the last few months we've been discussing a more energetic involvement of Metro in bike sharing and things like that. And the challenge being that we have 88 cities and we're fairly well spread out. I mean, we have everything New York has, it's just not on an island. It's spread out all over creation. So, the challenge, what we'll be looking to do is to figure out some way of developing a coordinated, comprehensive bike share program, along with bike paths and all the other things, in such a way that will be acceptable to all the cities. It's going to be a challenge because all the cities have different rules and different revenue streams and all this. But we've been charged by the board with initiating that discussion, and so I'm looking forward to that. I really am proud of LA. LA is the best city in the country, right? It is the best city in the country. When I say city, some of the county board members get a little uptight with me, so I explain to them when I say city, I don't mean municipality. I mean big urban place. And that's what this is. But it's our chance together to redesign this place and to make it even better. So I'm pleased to have Gabe here. We're going to talk later on today. And we're going to look forward to working with the mayor and his staff and with you guys.
Thanks.
We want this program to be a success all over Los Angeles County. So thank you. Welcome
Awesome.
to Los Angeles.
Thank you. Thanks.
By the way, I know he's been in Chicago. Do you know the Cubs haven't won the World Series since the Czar was in power? 1908. And Pam O'Connor, I didn't see Pam there.
Yeah.
A board member, Cub fan. So I tell her, look, don't stop at 105. Go for 200 years. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Art. And it may be another 100 years before they win based on their performance lately. I do want to say the transit program that you guys have and the $7 billion that you're putting into transit is so impressive, and that nationally you guys are a leader in that area and everybody recognizes that. That takes chutzpah, I guess is the right term, but it will unlock the economic future of this region. So, absolutely.
he prompted me. I got to tell you, as LA people, you will appreciate this. I was speaking in Vancouver, Canada a few months ago. They're looking at their transportation program, so they invited LA up there. While I was there, I was on talk radio, and 3 people called up to say they'd ridden trains in LA and they thought it was great. Can you imagine that?
That's awesome.
The only other American was there was my counterpart from New York City. I spoke before him. And so just to be in his face a little bit, I said, LA has the biggest program in the country. And then he spoke after me. You know what he said about it? Nothing. Because we do.
That's right.
Thank you.
All right, so where do you start? You really got to start with complete streets. I mean, that's really where it starts. And people talk about complete streets all the time. But you really do it. I think Gil Penalosa was here recently. You have to plan for the 8-year-old and the 80-year-old. And if you do that, the other people will be taken care of. But that absolutely is the key. And look, everybody's got a policy, right? I mean, who doesn't have a complete streets policy? In fact, 500 jurisdictions around the country have a policy. But what we did in Chicago, and I was proud of the mayor for getting behind this, is we said, this is our baseline modal hierarchy. Because most people won't say this, and then the fact is the car is the default, and the car is your highest in the hierarchy. And we called out the pedestrian, who is a user, as I said earlier, of all the other modes. Now, all modes are important. There's no question about that. But the pendulum has swung for way too many years towards the car, and it's strangling our cities. So when we set a pedestrian-first policy, that's not just capital investment, but that's operations, maintenance, all of those things to make sure that we have an equitable system in the 21st century. Now, building upon that, and I know a lot of people are here today wanting to hear about the bike stuff that we've done, was the Streets for Cycling plan, which really works hand in hand. And this is something that the mayor was super passionate about when he came in, and he said, look, I want to have a safe bike facility within a half mile of every Chicagoan. Now, it was about safety, but this is Mayor Emanuel, and he is looking at everything through an economic lens, to be honest with you. And so for him, it's about having an economic advantage over every other American city. And he wants Chicago to be #1 in the country, which I told him we would do. And I think this year you'll see Chicago hopefully named, #1 or #2 in the country for bike facilities. And again, what's old is new. Around the turn of the last century, we were going to do it. We were going to do it here in 1967. But really, the whole country is poised to make a move now. And you see it happening all around, particularly in the older cities. We're coming back to our roots, and we're prioritizing the bike. Now, maybe we used to have fruit for a penny a pound, and now we have deep-fried cupcakes. But we're making the same choices. Actually, notice the guy's wearing the same outfit. Now he's just called a hipster. So get this. This is really fascinating. 50% of trips in the U.S. are less than 3 miles. I mean, 3 miles is not far. You're talking about, 24 blocks? The majority are made by car. So what if this changed? I mean, what would things look like if we changed that up? What would people look like? How many gyms would go out of business? And here's what's helping us, is that driving a car is expensive. Living in a city is expensive. We were talking about this over dinner last night too. You have a lot of young people that are more focused on experience in life than ownership of things in their life, and that's a wonderful thing. Because if you decouple housing and transportation costs, or you don't own a second car or own a car at all, then suddenly living in an urban environment becomes affordable. Gail was telling me that rents now are skyrocketing in downtown. Well, yeah, there's a downside to that, but the upside is if you take away the $800 a month that it costs to keep a car in LA, maybe you can afford to live here. And by the way, when the city's doing well, wages go up as well. So what are we doing? We're re-engineering our streets. we're reallocating space, we're re-educating people about what the streets are for, and we're encouraging people. We trained 600 at-risk youth last year on how to bike. We taught them bike mechanics and urban agriculture. So we're starting with people young so that we sort of indoctrinate and socialize them with a different view of active transportation. And when we went out and talked to people and polled them and said, you know, would you like to ride a bike? Well, yes. Now, there are the strong and the fearless. That's the guy on the 405 on the fixed gear, you know, with a mohawk and no helmet, right? Then there's the enthused and confident. I'm probably one of those guys. But then the majority of people are interested in biking, but they're concerned about their safety. So this is, by the way, a block from my place in Chicago. We put in these buffered bike lanes, and some people are like, buffered bike lane? But that's not truly separated. Yeah, but you know what? When you put a double line up and you make a lane as big as a car lane, you separate it from the dooring of cars, people feel very, very different about it. It feels different to ride in it. And in the late 60s, half our children walked and biked to school. Now, we're down to a third, and most of that, like 95% of that, is walking. They don't bike anymore. But bike commuting is on the increase. It's nowhere near the Netherlands where it's 40%, but it's going up. And these figures are actually outdated. DC's almost doubled, Chicago's doubled, New York probably as well, and a lot of that's due to